live, and I was like, you know what, I haven't done this in a really, really long time, and yeah, I'm just sort of standing in front of the camera like a dancing monkey. Let's go. I don't have my microphone, so I hope you can hear me. We're just gonna wing it. So yeah, if you don't know me, I'm Tammy from Cambodia. Actually, I'm originally from Florida, Orlando, and I'm an expat, and I moved to Phnom Penh, Cambodia. I got here in January, this is July. I moved here about, 6.5 months ago, give and take. So here I am, rocked you like a hurricane. Yeah, so I'm in Cambodia, and you know, shit, I spilled my water, oh well. But you know, that's not what this is all about. I guess it sort of is. I mean, if you follow me on the channel, then you know that I talk about a lot of different expat things, you know, about visas, travel to get here, banking, getting health insurance. So if you haven't caught any of that, then catch it. You can see it on my regular videos. And I'm still going to do regular video, but I figured it's time to start doing some kind of like live stuff, you know, like to do some more backdoor, like unscripted, just crazy ass me stuff. And, you know, you get to see my apartment. Like I'm actually in my bedroom right now. And you know what's so crazy? This is my back door. This is the mango tree that's in my back door, and it's cloudy right now because it's getting ready to rain. It is actually the rainy season right now, and it's humid, but you know, you sweat in Cambodia. No matter what you do, you can just take a shower and you step out and sweat. It's the humidity. It's the way it is out here. Hey, look, I'm in jail. No. These bars are all over my windows in here, and that's only because that's sort of how they do it. There's no screens on the windows. Now, I open all the windows. I have like 3 windows here, and I got 2 over here that you don't see. So I have 5 in my bedroom. I've got 2 in my living room, and I got 2 in my kitchen. None of them have screens, but you know what? I mean, I get the occasional housefly, you know, just sort of comes on in, and then it goes right back out. And that's it. And I get the occasional mosquitoes that come in and then they go back out. Like, I don't have any mosquitoes in my house right now. So, and I know a lot of people freak out because they read about the mosquitoes out here in Cambodia. And I'm here to tell you now, let me tell you. I don't know if they just don't want to bite me. I mean, I've had them come like around my legs and stuff, and maybe I feel a little nip, but you just shoo them away and they don't bother you. I personally find, and this is just my opinion, that mosquitoes in Cambodia are not as aggressive as the mosquitoes in Florida, where I'm from. Oh my God, like in Florida, they would just attack me to death. They would get all around my legs in the evening time and just chew me up. And I always said, well, I must have sweet blood because they're always after my ass, you know what I mean? But out here, they don't seem to bother me. They don't bother me. And there's some bigger kind of species mosquito, but most of them are small and skinny, and they don't do much, which is a good thing because I know they carry disease. But I'll tell you what's a good clue. I'll tell you. If you eat a lot of garlic and ginger, that is a natural deterrent. How do you say that word? Deterrent? I told you it's totally unscripted. In other words, it makes the mosquitoes not want to bite you. Let's put it that way. So just eat garlic and ginger, cook it in your food. I don't mean eat it raw, but cook it up in your food a little bit each day, and you won't have no problems with mosquitoes. Okay, I'm just saying. Oh, and hey, I just wanted to show you this. Have you ever seen Cambodian Money before? You know what monopoly money is, right? You know monopoly money is all different colors. I thought this would be cool to show you what Cambodian money looks like. And it looks like I have a shitload of money, doesn't it? Look at the colors. We got purple, you see it? We've got blues, we got pink, and then this last one's like an orange. All right, believe it or not, this says 100 on it. It's not worth $100 like you would think US. And here's the back of it. This is their penny. This is their change. Like literally if you, it's 4,000 roughly, 4,000 reals. They call their currency reals, R-I-E-L-S. If you convert 4,000 of their reals to $1 American, this is equivalent, this right here is equivalent to 4 cents. Okay? All right, now check this out. This, the pink, is their 500, if you can see it. Okay, so figure this is worth like a quarter. The 500 is roughly a quarter because you need, well, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is equal to, wait, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. This is equal to $1 US right here. 4,000 and $1 US, right? Then you move up to the big blue, which is 1,000 of their money. You can see the 1,000 on, where is it written? There it is. Okay. Again, figure that out. You need 4 of these to equal a US dollar. So this is worth a quarter. So I guess the other one's worth half of that. I don't know. I get confused, but anyway, you get the picture. And then you move up to the 5,000. This is their 5,000 one. What it looks like. See, it says 5,000 on it. And that is worth $1.25. So you girl be ballin'. I actually only have, if you add all this money up, I think it's only roughly like, let's add it up. Let's figure this out. I'm gonna add it all up right now because I don't even know how much cash I got on me right now in reals. So I'm gonna count it. Let's count it up. I like to put it all in order so that I can actually figure this out. Because you got to keep converting in your head. So let's see. We got 5,000, 6, 7, 8, 9,000. This is 10, 10,000, 11,000, 12,000. You're going to hear the vendor. 13,000, 14,000. And 600 left over. So figure out 14,000, 4 to 1, 4, 8, 12, 16. It's not even, it's like $3.50, maybe $3.75 with this. That's how much is literally in my wallet right now. Yeah, so what can you get for a little over $4? Like seriously, what can you buy in Cambodia for $4.50? Well, it depends on where you go. You obviously can't go to a Western restaurant and ball out on a nice hamburger or steak on this kind of money. But you can go to a street vendor and you can buy, well, like my favorite drink is the sugarcane juice drink. Dude, it is the best ever. You talk about nature's sweet drink, it's the Cambodian sugarcane juice drink. I kid you not. So I go and I get one of those, and depending on where I go, here's my wallet. Depending on where I go, I can pick one up, a big drink about this tall with ice for 75 cents. Keep that in mind, 75 cents for a sugarcane juice drink. then I can either go to another street vendor and I can go get a fried banana, or yeah, they have fried bananas out here, right? Or you can get like meat on a stick or whatever. That's usually like $1.50, maybe $2 for one of those. But I'm not really big on fried food. So what I would do is I would personally go to a sit-down cafe or restaurant, and I can get a really damn good like bowl of beef. They call it beef luklak, or fish amek, if you ever heard of that. I'm probably killing the name, but you can get bowls of soup, even just noodles and pork, or rice and pork, and you can get it for like anywhere from $1.50 a plate to up to $4 a meal, depending if you go to a fancier restaurant, right? So that's what I'm saying. So you can still live pretty large in Cambodia. And now this is me in the city. I'm in the capital city of Phnom Penh. Now, obviously, if I lived in the rural areas, like if I lived in, let's say, Siem Reap, or I lived south near the beach. They actually have beaches here in Cambodia. Like there's an island called, I believe, Koh Kong, like King Kong, but it's called Koh Kong. I haven't been there yet, and I so want to go. I definitely want to go, and I think that's going to happen here pretty soon. I just got to get my cash up a little bit, so we'll see what happens. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anywho, let me check this out, see what's going on. What's going on, people? Anywho, I have no idea. Like I said, I haven't done live streams in a good minute, so you'll have to bear with me. Do you know what? I was just thinking the other day, I was really thinking about some things that have happened in my past. This was like when my children, I have two kids. I got a grown 21-year-old son, and I have a 27-year-old daughter, right? And my husband passed away like 14 years ago, so it's been a while. But before all of that, like, let's say my kids were like, my son was around 2 and my daughter was about 8. And, my husband was still around, and it was just like, we were barely scraping by. And this was like the early 2000s. So you can imagine, I know the United States right now is like effed up. It's bad, but the economy wasn't exactly super easy to navigate in the early 2000s, like 20 years ago when I was raising my kids. So we still had it pretty rough. But I don't know what we were thinking. For some damn reason, my husband, now I say he talked me into this, but I put the blame on me for actually letting him talk me into this, okay? Because honestly, the whole shit show was on me because I said yes. So I own this whole scenario, all right? But he contributed, okay? I'm just saying. He was really good at contributing to the shit show. So he's like, hey, we need some new cars. Like, we have crappy cars. We have kids now. Let's go and buy some cars, right? Well, the first one we got, and back then, I know car payments right now are super out of this world. They're what, $700 minimum and up? Back then, and this was high because my credit sucked, bro, okay? Like, his credit sucked. I don't even know how we got financed. But we got into this Hyundai SUV for, I think it was like about $500 a month, which is like outrageous 20 years ago. So we're like, yeah, we can afford it. So we get the SUV. Of course, you love the new car smell. And we're driving it around, and we're still a one-car family, right? Next thing you know, ta-da, my husband says, hey, you know, I never owned a brand new truck, and I really want a brand new truck. And I really want a brand new Ford F-150 truck, dear. And, you know, I'll probably die if I never get this truck. I'll die without a brand new F-150 if, thank you, if you don't give me this opportunity, dear. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. We just financed an SUV, and I'm paying $500 a month, because at the time it was like I was the one with the steady job, and he was working off and on, because he was like one of those jack of all trade dudes, right? So we never knew when his cash was coming in, but mine was steady. And I was pretty much holding everything down, the bills, everything. But he talked me into it, and I was like, okay, let's go buy a Ford F-150. What the hell? We get into a Ford F-150, and it's another $500 a month for this truck payment. Now we have $1,000 a month car payments, too. Don't know where his cash is coming, hit and miss. Mine is here every 2 weeks, but now, mind you, I got 2 kids to feed, his mouth to feed, I got bills, and now I got $1,000 worth of car payments. When I signed on the, and you know what, like I said, it's all on me, bro, it's all on me. It was under my credit. I signed the line, I signed the contracts, because his credit was totally shot. And even in my heart, when I signed that second contract, I knew I could not afford to pay these payments. I said, I don't know how the hell we're going to do this. And even when we drove off with the truck, he was all excited, and I was like, I said, I don't know how we're going to pay these payments. I said, honestly, we're going to lose these vehicles, and then we're going to be kicking rocks out on the street because we ain't going to have no car. And then our credit's really going to be shot. And he's like, no problem. I'll get work. It's all cool, right, baby? Right, okay. So I'm like, okay. So months go by, we're barely making the payments. We're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Like, I would make one car payment on the SUV, and then I'd skip the one on the truck. And then I'd make the payment on the truck and skip the one on the SUV because I couldn't do $1,000. So every time the bank would call me and say, hey, you know, you missed a payment, I'll be, oh, but I got you next month. So I would be robbing Peter to pay Paul, and I got away with it for maybe another 4 months. But then they were getting pissed. Like, the bank was like, no, you're too far behind because you keep skipping every month, and now you're X months behind, and we want the vehicles. In fact, both of them, I kid you not, we had both vehicles repossessed at the same time. You talk about panic mode. I was like, how the hell am I going to get to work? I've got 2 young kids. You know, this is Orlando, Florida, okay? At the time we were living in Winter Haven. If you're familiar with Winter Haven, it's like a little backwoods dirt water kind of place. I mean, now it's developed, but Winter Haven, there's barely any kind of bus transportation, right? So you're either riding a bicycle from one end of town to the other, or you're walking. But everything's so spread out, you can't possibly keep that up with groceries and everything. You have to have a car, and not to mention the heat, okay? Because Florida is butt-ass hot. I mean, it's hot here in Cambodia, but it is very hot in Florida too. Okay, so let's wind this up a little bit. Anywho, both vehicles are repossessed. We have no vehicles. So my brilliant husband says, at the time, why don't you give your parents a call and see if they can help us out with another car? Because my mom is tapped out, bless her soul. She lived to be 99, but she's dead now too. My mom doesn't have any credit. She has no money to help us out. Do you think your parents could help us out? My mom never wanted to help me out, okay? She never really liked my husband. But I was like, I have no effing choice. What am I going to do? I got kids, I got a job, I have no car. So I call up my parents, and I'm practically in tears. First I got with my dad. My dad's always been really cool, you know, and he's always been the guy who would slip you $20 bill. Like, he would do that for me. Like, I'd come over and visit, and he'd slip me a $20. He goes, "This is for gas. Don't tell your mom. Don't tell your mom." So he'd slip me the $20 bill. I'd be like, "Yeah, okay, thanks, Dad," right? My mom, never. So I call up. I tell my mom what's going on. My dad's on the other end of the phone. They're both silent, and they're thinking, well, they really fucked up. And I was like, yeah, Mom, Dad, I really fucked up, and I really need your help now because I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't finance a car because my credit is really shot now, and I don't have any cash. Do you have an old car that you can give us? Just anything, right? So first my mom was like, you know, you made your bed, lay in it kind of shit. And then later on my dad chimes in. He goes, wait a minute. Because, you know, he felt bad, his grandkids, right? He's like, you know what? And he was talking to my mom. He's like, look, we were planning to buy a new car anyway. Why don't we give them our old car? It was paid for. And at the time it was a blessing, but let me tell you how this went. This old car that I got was I think it was a 1996, 97 Cadillac Catera. Are you familiar with Cadillacs? Most Cadillacs are not bad, but the Catera was one of the worst models that you could ever buy, okay? So at the time, we were desperate. And I was like, thank you, Dad. Thank you. So he signed everything over. He gave us this old Cadillac Catera, right? And, and okay, now picture this. It's a black paint job, and the inside is black leather. Black on black, okay? At the moment, it had air conditioning, right? And it worked. At the moment, it had air conditioning and it worked. It worked for approximately 2 months. Then the AC went out in this Cadillac Catera. And we're all sticking in these leather black seats. Now, and again, there was no tint on the windows of this Cadillac, okay? But we had no AC, so we had to roll down all 4 windows. And in Florida, all you're getting is a blast of hot air when you're driving down the road, so you're sweating like a dog. And when you're sitting on black leather seats in a black car at 95 Fahrenheit, your whole butt and your back and the back of your head is just sweat. It's just a wall of sweat. And forget about sitting in traffic, because that's even worse. There's no air blowing at all, and you're sitting there smelling everybody else's fumes, wishing you had the cool car with the air conditioner, right? I can remember, like, my son at the time was like a toddler. He was 2, and we had the baby chair strapped in the back, and we had him in the baby chair. And I remember, poor thing, I'd look over at him in the back to see how he was doing, because he's so quiet, and usually he's lively, and he would just be sitting there just like this. His cheeks would be totally red, sweat coming all off his head. I'd pick him up out of his seat, like when we got to Walmart or something, his whole back totally soaking wet from sweat. I felt terrible. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, but we can't do anything about it. We have no money to get this air conditioner fixed right now, right? So at least we have wheels. We have a car. We can get from point A to point B, but we're all going to suffer and sweat. Beggars can't be choosers, right? So here in my mind, I was thinking, well, if we can just hang on till tax season, because by that time it was summertime, the car was still running. Usually we always got the child tax credit and we get money back from the government, roughly $3,000. And I was like, okay, if we can just make it till January of next year, then we can get our tax refund and we can fix the AC in the car. And then we'll have AC again, right? And we'll have a car that's paid for. So that was the plan. It was a great plan until something else happened. So the end of the year comes, we get our income tax money, and we're ready to get the AC fixed. Yeehaw, right? But here's what happened to the Catera. The engine decides to stop working. Now the car won't start at all. So we thought maybe it's the battery. No, it wasn't the battery. We drag it into a mechanic, literally had it towed by AAA, had them look into the engine, and they're like, okay, something's cracked with the block, blah, 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 your engine, you need a new engine. In other words, we can't just like patch it up and fix it for you. You literally need to buy either a new car or a new engine for this car. I was like, are you shitting me? First we have no AC, now we have no engine. Now we're back to square one with no running car. So we have $3,000, what do? We took the chances. They said, we can buy you an engine, a used engine for $2,500. I said, okay, done, because I don't think I can get into a decent car for $3,000 cash, right? Because like I said, it's like early 2000s. So we buy the engine. They put the engine in the Cadillac. There's only a 30-day warranty on this end. You know where this is going, right? There's a 30-day warranty because it's a used engine. It's running rough. Like the car is working, but like if you were sitting at a light, it would go right? And then it would stall periodically, and you'd have to crank the engine again. Like, man, what's wrong with this engine, right? So we take it back to the mechanic before the 30 days are up, tell them what's happening. They supposedly go in there and they do another fix. Okay, everything's cool. So we take it off the lot again. We're driving it for another week or two. It's still messing up bad. And I'm like, oh my God, we just soaked the only money we had into this used engine and it's still not working. 30 days are up, warranty's over, and guess what? The car runs like shit. We're screwed, man. It keeps stalling on the road. It's a piece of shit. Now I've exhausted everything. I have no credit, I have no money, and I can't go to my mom and dad for another vehicle. We had burned all our bridges down. I was like, you know what? This is really funny. If this was a comedy movie, I would be laughing my ass off right now. But right now, this is my life. So what am I going to do now? Right? And I'm just shaking my head at my husband. I'm like, we're going to be walking. We're literally going to be walking with these kids to Walmart. Okay, in 95-degree weather. So anyway, me being the positive porcupine that I am, I started researching things online. How can I get a car with bad credit, right? And back in the day, I don't even know if they have these anymore, but they used to have this thing called drive time. Let me know if you guys know about drive time. But in Florida, that's the thing where you can actually buy a car on the cheap, even if you have super crapped out bad credit, right? And you might have to put a little teeny bit of cash down. So I'm like, I don't think this is going to work, but this is my last chance. We got to do something. So here we are back to square one after a year. So I call up drive time. I'm saying, hey, they probably hear from people like me all the time. And I'm like, hey, yo, I have no credit. I had 2 repossessions a year ago. I have no money. I have maybe $50 I can give you for a deposit or a down payment. And I have a busted up 97 Cadillac Catera that I'm gonna have to tow into you as a trade-in. What can you do to help me? Your girl was just laughing. I was just thinking to myself, these people are gonna hang up on my ass and they're gonna be like, this chick, whatever. Lo and behold, I had a streak of luck. They said, no problem. They ran my credit. It was tanked. It was like in the 400s. They're like, you know what? No problem. If you can get that Cadillac Catera towed in and you've got $50 for down payment, we can get you into, get this, I think it was an '06. We can get you into a 2006 Ford, oh, what was that minivan back in the day? The Winstar, or the one, the cousin to the Winstar. There was two of them. I forget which one. I think I had the Winstar. And I said, does it have air conditioning? And they're like, yes, strong air conditioning. I said, how many miles are on this car? Because at the time, I think it was like 2012. So the car was already 6 years old. And they're like, it's got about 120,000 miles on it, but it runs really strong. They sent the pictures to me. I showed it to my husband. It was like a tan paint job, tan interior, slide, you know, the whole thing, the big, they don't make them like that anymore, but the big old, you know, minivan. And of course we had two kids, so I was like, we need the room. I said, I've never driven a minivan, have you? And he goes, no. I says, you know, this is our only chance. We have to take this. So we get AAA to not only tow this busted down Cadillac Catera into drive time, but for all four of us to ride with the tow truck driver. We squeezed it all in his little cab. And we're like, dude, we need a ride with the car to drive time, because like where it was, like we were living in Winter Haven and it was in Lakeland. So we had to get the tow from Winter Haven to Lakeland, and all four of our asses were in the cab with the guy. So we all show up at drive time, right? I have the title, I give it to him, I say, here's the busted car, here's my $50, let me see this minivan. I was just so excited. We get in it, we test drive the minivan, it's running beautiful. Then I'm like, okay, now wait a minute. God only knows how much this car payment is now, because I was paying $500 a month per vehicle for that SUV and that truck. And now my credit's even worse. So I was like, you know, this is fantastic, but what is it, $1,000 a month car payment? No. I'm telling you, my luck turned around. Like I ended up paying, I think it was $360 a month. It was under $400, I remember that. It was $360 a month for that Ford Winstar. And I was like, where's the contract? I did pay that vehicle off. It ran perfect, other than slight little maintenance things that we had to do. And I told my husband, I said, don't you dare try to talk me into trading this van in for something else, because you know what happened. We're not going down this road again, okay? Kept the minivan. I paid it off within 3 years. I think I had a 4-year contract, but I had more money that I could pump into it each month. So instead of paying like $360 a month, I paid off like $460 a month. So I got it down to 3 years, and I paid that bitch off. And lo and behold, it gets better though. It gets better. The story is crazy, but at the moment before I paid off that minivan, my husband passed away. Okay? Won't go into all those details, but now I am a widow with 2 kids. I have a minivan I got just paid off. And then the engine starts messing up on this vehicle. It seems like it never fails. The minute you pay off a vehicle, isn't it the truth that something actually starts to happen to it? So I take it into the mechanic locally, and I says, what's up with this? What's going on with this engine? And they said it's something electrical. We're going to need it for a week to test it. Okay. Get back with them. We don't know what it is. We have no idea what's wrong with the engine. I was like, not again, not again. But here's the good news. Because I paid on that minivan, never missed a payment for 3 years, I rebuilt my credit back up. And those repos started to drop off slowly, because I think it takes like, I don't know, 7 to 10 years for bad luck to come off your credit score. So with that sliding off my credit report, and then my credit starting to build because I made the payments on time, because Drive Time did report your payments to the credit bureau. I was lucky enough, like where I worked at, I had a credit union with my job. And I says, I don't know if this is going to work, but my credit score's up a little bit. I says, let me go into the credit union and see if I can get a loan from them at a low interest rate to buy a brand new car. Not a used one, brand new car. So at first I was like, well, what kind of car do I want to get, right? It's got to be reliable. And it doesn't have to be nothing fancy, and now it's just me and the kids. I can get a car. I don't need a minivan, I don't need a truck, I don't need an SUV. So my baby, in 2014, I got a brand new 2014 Nissan Altima, and I'm gonna tell you what, now you might be dissing Altimas, but it was the best damn car I ever owned in my life. Best car. So back then, it was $20,000 out the door to buy a brand new 2014 Nissan Altima. I know, it's like, shock. Not today. So I go to the credit union, I fill out the application, they know all my history, they know my credit, and they gave me the loan for $20,000. Nothing down, because I worked there, so they were attached, they knew that I got paid every 2 weeks. They knew they could take my car payment right out of my paycheck automatically. They were gonna get their money. And I got my payments down to like $220 a month for this Nissan Altima, brand new. This is, I think, when they first started coming out with the push button engines. Everything was like starting to get really techy, right? Because the old Ford, like you had to still put the key in and crank it up. This actually had the push button engine, and I was shocked, man. So I get into my brand new Nissan Altima with the air conditioning, and I was like, and the guy had to show me how to start the car, because I get in and I'm like, where do you put the key? Like, how do I start the engine? I'm oblivious to this. And he goes, and I said, it says start engine, I see the button, but I'm pressing the button and it's not coming on, right? And he goes, oh, no, here's what you do. So he shows me, and he puts his foot, he says, you put your foot, you press down on the brake first, hold it down, and then you press the button. And the engine will just start. That's how it starts. So I was, oh, that's so cool, right? Press the brake, vroom, car starts up, AC. It's still a black on black car, but it's not leather on the inside. It's black, like a really nice, like a velvety, suede-y kind of feel. Oh, it was so nice. Dude, let me tell you, I kept that car, paid it off within 4 years. My credit just boomed. It was excellent after that. And I meticulously did maintenance on this car. Whatever the hell it needed, it got. Oil changes on time, transmission flushes on time, brakes, tires, you name it. That baby car, that baby that was mine, that brand new car that I bought on my own, was meticulously maintained. One owner, me. Do you know, to this day, that car is still on the road running, tip-top shape, and guess who owns the car? Not me, because I had to, how am I going to take the car with me to Cambodia, right? Hi Alex. I went ahead and signed over the title, the car insurance, the tag to my son. who is now 21, who actually owns the car right now. And I said, how's it running, son? Because like right when I gave him the car, let me think. So I got it in 14, I left in 23. That car was already what, 9 years old? And now it's been another 2 years. So the car's 11 years old right now. He takes really good care of it. I said, how's it running, son? He goes, it's running good. Really good, Mom. I said, you taking care of that? He goes, yes, I am. And he's had no breakdowns, no problems with this Nissan Altima. And when I gave him that car, it actually had probably about 140,000 miles on it. Who knows what it's got on it now, but he says he is not having no issues with that car whatsoever, okay? So that's my story. Isn't that a wild story? All the way from no credit with 2 repossessions and busted down cars, all the way to getting my credit back up, buying my own brand new vehicle, and then gifting it to my son, who still has it in the family to this day. Now, it's a little rough, right? Okay, the Florida weather really does a number on paint, on cars. I mean, the sun is so hot that like when it beats down on the hood or on the back of the trunk, the paint starts to fade out. And like I said, it's a black car. So when I went to visit him this past holiday, I went back to the United States to visit, and I wanted to see the car because I was so excited. I was like, that's my baby too. I want to go see how he took care of this car, right? So I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh man, it's so sad. Because I remember when I bought it brand new, it was all black and shiny, and it was just a beautiful looking car. And now it's like the top of the trunk is all turning like sort of white because the paint's like fading off of the top, and the hood's looking all white sort of. It's just looking sort of trashed out. But it still runs with AC and everything. And the stereo, let me tell you, the stereo kicks, buddy. I'm going to tell you what, the stereo freaking kicks. He loves it because he blasts his rap music. My son's into that rap scene, so yeah. But it did have a few dents, like the front, the front fender on the driver's side is dented in. I was like, okay, what happened there, son? Now he lives with his girlfriend, okay? His girlfriend's younger than him, maybe about a year. He taught her how to drive on my car because she didn't know how to drive. She didn't even get her driver's license till she was like 18, 19. So she learned to drive on my Nissan Altima, but it wasn't her that put the dent in. They both share the car. Like he works nights. They're a one-car family. He drives the car at night while she's at home, and then when he comes back, she gets the car during the day, takes it to her job while he's sleeping. So that they have a thing that we can share the car. And evidently, I don't know what he did, but he said, I don't know, he said something about, he thought he hit the brake, but he hit the gas, and he ended up running into the side of a pole or something. I was like, okay, how much weed were you smoking that day, huh? But anyway, yeah, it's not so bad. Like, he didn't have to go get the fender fixed. It's just got a nice little dent. And I was like, oh, my little baby got a dent. She got faded out paint, but she's still running like a champ, just like me. Maybe old, beat up looking on the outside. Man, I still run like a champ on the inside. So anywho, that's my story. If you got some stories to share, you know, about busted up car stuff and everything. Oh yeah, the money. Let me know. But yeah, the money's cool. The money's cool. It's not USD, but it's cool, right? Anyway, you got your girl out here. Let me test, it's been what, 45 minutes? Let me feel my camera. Sorry, I gotta do a close-up. Hello. Well, my camera's burning hot, guys. Yeah, I'm running it off my cell phone. But yeah, you like things moving. Hey, I'll tell you what. You want to see more outside? I'm going to take you with me just real quick. You can get a view of the porch. I told you it's cloudy. It's cloudy looking out here. Here's what's happening out here. We can see out here at the neighborhood. It's pretty much nothing going on. There's people hanging out on their porch. It's a quiet neighborhood. Yeah, it's pretty quiet. Bali Resort. Oh, guys, I gotta tell you something. And here's my crazy looking bedroom. I gotta tell you guys something. I hope this goes down, okay? I met another lady from Canada. The fire says 200, am I mistaken? I don't know, let me see. No. 500. It probably looks like a 2 the way I'm holding it. Here's the back. Can you see it? That's 500. They don't have 2s. They got the 1s. The pinks are the 5s. What do we do here? The blues are the 1000s. The purple is the 5,000. Now they do have a 10,000 note, but I don't have one on me. That's as high as it goes, is a 10,000 note. And it's like a beige color. So it doesn't look orange, it looks more beige. But yeah, they don't have a 200 note. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I met another expat, this chick from Canada. Her name is Shelby. And she lives at a really, really nice place. She lives in a condo called the Bali Resort number 3, which is actually on the island. When you go across the river here in Phnom Penh, she lives over there. So anyway, I asked her, I says, hey, look, I got a YouTube channel. I would really love to interview you, right? I said, would you be up for an interview? I said, you would be the first one I've ever actually interviewed, an expat living in Phnom Penh. I would love to interview you. And I said, you don't have to tell me nothing personal about yourself. We'll just talk about what it's like to live in Cambodia. And she said she'd do it. At least she said it 2 days ago. So I'm supposed to go over her place tomorrow. And I'm going to bring my equipment with me. And I was hoping to set it up by the pool area. They got this really badass pool area. It's posh, man. It is a resort/condo place to live. If I can, I'll also get some footage of her apartment. She pays $50 less than I do a month, and she gets the pool and the gym and all that, but she has a smaller pad. She pays $300 a month. But the pool is super cool. So now I have somebody that I can just go over to their place and go swimming for free, which I love. And they got ping pong tables. They got a gym you can work out in. It's super bad. So anyway, I'm gonna try to film an interview with her tomorrow, and then I'll do some editing to it, and then I'll upload it hopefully by Sunday this week, if not early next week. I'll get it done. If she doesn't chicken out. If she chickens out, then maybe I'll just do a little apartment tour of her place, and then you guys can see the whole pad and everything. So anyway, that's what's coming up. I hope you guys stay tuned, and it's been fun doing the live stream, but like I said, I think my camera's ready to blow up. I really do. So I'm gonna say goodbye and see you in the next one. And I'm gonna do some more live streams, okay? So you never know. Pop in.